Hello and welcome to Organic Cardboard. My name is Owen Kneep, and today I am very excited, so excited to get to finally open up my pledge for Monster Hunter World. I've been waiting for this game for, it's been just, is it just under 2 years? Let's see, this game finished in April 30th of 2021, and I just got this yesterday, so it's April 27th of 2023, so essentially I've been waiting almost exactly 2 years. And I'm one of the last people to have received this game out of all of the backers. So I have been watching with patience and maybe just a little aggravation as I'm getting to see everybody open their games up, except for me. And the reason, main reason why I'm receiving this game so late is because of these two little characters right here. So I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but the Azure Rathalos and the Black Diablos. So I went all in on this campaign. Not exactly proud to admit that, but SFG and all of their appreciation towards their backers and the people who spend money on their games decided that for whatever reason, the people who bought the Azure Rathalos and Black Diablos on top of the rest of their pledge was going to receive those their pledges in second priority. So anybody that backed these with these extra characters received them last. It was kind of their way of showing appreciation again for those people who gave them the most money. So if you can tell, I'm a little slightly salty about it, but it's fine. I'm sure there's some kind of reason why it was easier for them to give out the other games to everybody else ahead of time. It might have had something to do with manufacturing. I don't know. But they certainly didn't tell you that that was going to happen ahead of time, that if you ordered these that you were going to be getting your games in last. I might not have even ordered them if that was the case, because they're totally unnecessary. They're literally just the exact same models that you already have, only in a different colored plastic. So if you're going to paint the miniatures, you may want an extra set so that you could paint that different color as well. But they're otherwise unnecessary. So with that all said, the main reason why I want to do this video today is not to necessarily do an unboxing video. I am planning to unbox my game while I'm doing this video, but the main thing that I want to talk about is the new campaign that Steamforged Games has decided to put out literally 20 days from now, 21 days from the point at which I received my pledge for Monster Hunter World. They are going to have Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So the video game of Monster Hunter World, if you're not familiar with Monster Hunter World, go get familiar with it. It's the best video game that they ever created. I'm not biased at all. Monster Hunter, the series, I have been enamored with since it first came to the United States. All the way back in 2004. I got it for PlayStation 2, and I've gotten it for every console that's come out since then. It's literally caused me to purchase like 3 different consoles just to be able to play it. Monster Hunter World was the latest one, and I'm sorry, it wasn't the very latest one. They made one, Monster Hunter Rise for the Switch. But Monster Hunter World was by far and large the best, like leaps and bounds above any of the other ones that they created before or after. It's way better than Monster Hunter Rise. Sorry, Monster Hunter Rise fans that are out there. I liked Monster Hunter Rise. It was a step back in the series to make it for like a more simple system that was the Switch. So Monster Hunter World. Again, it's a game that people have sunk countless hours into. I know I'm not that big of a video gamer anymore. Every once in a while I'll get into like, 1 or 2 video games or whatever, but I don't play very many at all anymore. Most of my time and energy is all put into the board games at this time in my life. But I will always go back to checking out any new Monster Hunter games that come out. So, all that said, to just relay a little bit of the bias or the desire that I have, the lack of impulse control that I have for this game series. So, Monster Hunter World, the campaign came out 2 months after another monster hunting game called Primal the Awakening. So Primal the Awakening came out in February of 2021, or finished in February of 2021, and I found that it was a great back as far as like the amount of content that you got. They weren't dealing with this IP. SFG has kind of created themselves as this company that follows they create video games into board games. So they have taken what is it, like Horizon Zero Dawn's a big one that they've done, Resident Evil, Dark Souls. They're a bit of a controversial company. They've gone back and forth as far as like, some people really enjoy what they create, some people don't. They have different issues, things in that. They're always very expensive campaigns. Like I almost got Horizon Zero Dawn and then backed out of it because, I didn't look at the Kickstarter. I looked at it after the fact, and people had talked about how like kind of mediocre the gameplay was. It's an expensive game, but SFG has put themselves in this place of handling IPs from video games. So Primal was is essentially a Monster Hunter clone, but with completely different monsters that you don't see in the Monster Hunter series. But this same idea of going out and attacking, killing these monsters. You're a hunter. You're going on a particular quest to take out whatever monster that is being requested of you to take out. And but the thing that you're really looking for, the items that you'll get off the monster, you'll carve them, you'll get pieces off of them, you'll take them back to a blacksmith who will create new weapons and armor for you to then go out and fight bigger monsters to take their pieces back to make more weapons and armor to fight bigger monsters. So it just is this constant cycle of going out and killing monsters and taking their gear and making your own gear out of it. Primal was doing that, and so most people either backed Primal or they backed Monster Hunter World. I did both. Not necessarily proud to admit that, and they were very expensive campaigns. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was somewhere around between like $400 to $500 for all of it. So it's not something that was backed lightly, but I love that genre so much. I love Monster Hunter World so much. I actually got Primal too because I just figured it was just so cool looking. So Iceborne coming out next month. There's a lot of people that are annoyed by this, and the reason why they're annoyed is because they feel like, oh, I just got this game, I just spent all this money on it, I'm just now receiving it, and I can understand this like kind of knee-jerk reflex that they had initially towards that, but as soon as you think about it, though, I don't really understand why people are getting so annoyed by that, because they didn't just pay for that. They paid for it 2 years ago, which means it took like 2 years for this game to get to them, which means they're probably also going to have another 2 years to play Monster Hunter World before they can play Iceborne. So yeah, if you're going to back Iceborne, you are going to have to shell out probably quite a bit of money if you're going to do the full end backing for it. But that means that by the time you really wear out Monster Hunter World, if it takes you 2 years to do that, then you're going to have additional content already ready for you coming in the door. So initially I was a little perplexed by this, why they went into Iceborne, because Monster Hunter World's not a complete game, in my opinion. There's quite a few monsters that are missing. You only have 2 out of the 5 different biomes located in it. So you have the Ancient Forest and the Wildspire Waste. The 2 cooler of the biomes, the Coral Highlands and the Rotten Vale, are not present, as well as the Elder's Recess. I mean, that one you could kind of take or leave. It's still cool enough. I mean, literally you could just throw a board in there and that could be the Elder's Recess to fight like the the Elder Dragons on or something like that. But they, for whatever reason, decided to not go that far, and probably because it was so expensive to create this much content. They didn't want to freak anybody out with having an $800 game or something for everybody to have to spend that much money for. So so they're going straight into Iceborne from this, and I had to think about that, and I think possibly one of the reasons why they're doing that is because they think that people are gonna get into Iceborne more because it's like it has all of these like core games within it. Now, Monster Hunter kind of creates core games out of the Ancient Forest and the Wildspire Waste, where they've got some hunters of there's like 14 different weapon types in Monster Hunter World, and they have like 4 or so of them, I think, in each one of those. Still, it doesn't really make sense, again, why they couldn't make those additional ones, but I guess they really wanted to do some of these other mechanics that were in Iceborne. I don't know. Maybe they're not going to plan to... I originally thought that they were going to go back and fill in the missing content from Monster Hunter World first before they went to Iceborne. But at any length, they went straight into Iceborne, and now looking at that, we're going to get some new monsters. There's going to be a few more mechanics. I'm going to go ahead and start opening up my boxes because I've been waiting on this for like quite a while, and I'm going to go ahead and keep talking about Iceborne while we do this. So Iceborne is they've been having some stuff released, some interviews and whatnot, and from what I can gather from the information I can see so far, there's 2 big things that are going to be different with Iceborne as far as mechanics go. So you're going to have the Clutch Claw. And the Clutch Claw was a mechanic, it was part of the video game. It was a little thing that was on your wrist that you could use to shoot at things. And you can also kind of leap onto the monsters with it. So in Iceborne, they're planning to have that available for you to... Oh man, here it is. Sorry, that's a bit of a reaction too at the same time. So in Iceborne, they're going to have that Clutch Claw mechanic so that you can kind of use that to zoom across the board a little bit, and they wanted to mix that in, even though it was something that was retrofitted back to Monster Hunter World. And sorry, let me get this sideways here because I want to pull this guy out. Oh man. Oh, there it is. The other big mechanic that a lot of people were really wanting in this Monster Hunter World was the Turf Wars. So they tried to work on Turf Wars, like they were thinking about putting that in Monster Hunter World, but they didn't because it wasn't. They couldn't really figure out the mechanics of how to make that work well with everything in a balanced way. But they are planning to include that in Iceborne, so they've worked it out enough, and now they're going to have the Turf Wars. So if you're not familiar with the video game, in the video game you would fight one monster, and sometimes another monster would show up and then fight with the monster that you were fighting with, and they would kind of knock and tumble and hit into you guys too if you were close by. So you had to kind of back up, let them duke it out. One of them would win, the other one would take a huge amount of damage and then kind of tuck its tail and leave the zone, and then you would be left fighting the one that was left. It might not have even been the one that you were originally fighting. So they are planning to have that as well. This is the Wild Spire Waste. Again, I'm not going to go into too much. Like I'm not even going to open these up on this video. I'm more or less just wanting to break my boxes open, and I'm just planning to do that on the video. But you guys have, again, probably already seen some unboxing videos as it is. This is the Kuluyaku, a little extra, and I'm looking for it. Somewhere on here was one of their typos. Now, they were kind of... Maybe this one doesn't have it. Maybe I got my game so late they fixed the issues with it. That'd be nice. There's quite a few typos in this game, from what I've gathered, from what I've read. And so I wasn't really looking forward to seeing those. They're actually sending out cards to everybody to like replace some cards that were so broken from the typos. And then, unfortunately, I think the rule books that were printed with their typos, they're not going to get that out to everybody. I guess it would be quite a bit of an extra expense, but you know, I mean, it's one of those things you got to kind of balance out how expensive it is to produce these games with fixing issues like that. But it'd be great if they put it in Iceborne for the people that backed it. Maybe they will. Maybe we can get them to do that. So, Iceborne, going back to that, you've got 7 new monsters from what I can gather, that, not in totality, but like seven that have been essentially revealed, not directly. They haven't given out a huge amount of information about Iceborne just yet, again, because the Kickstarter's not gone out just yet. But Sprues and Brews was... I wasn't familiar with them ahead of time, but I saw a video by them that was an interview with Jamie Perkins, the guy that main guy that heads SFG, and he in that video they showed they were doing a prototype showing of that of the content, and so I gathered 7 different monsters from that. So one of the flagship monsters from Iceborne was the Bonbaro. I'd say the biggest flagship monster from Iceborne was Velkhana, was the big elder dragon. But Bonbaro was like the first monster that you fought that was similar, like how you had the Great Jagras is one of the first ones from the base core box here of the Ancient Forest. And it was a fairly simple one. It was like kind of an ice themed. It kind of had like almost like a moose type themes. It had these big antlers and stuff. You fought it in the snow. That one's going to be in there. Rajang is this ape with these big horns. If you haven't played the video game, this stuff probably isn't all that important to you, the different monsters, because you're not going to have much of a reference for them. But it's this big ape with these big giant horns. He's super aggressive, and he throws lightning everywhere. He can like spit it out at you, and like big bursts and big beams at you. He's pretty nasty. He's going to be in there because you can see him right on the Kickstarter page. And then who else have we got? So there's Bonbaro. Again, Velkhana is going to be in there. The Elder Dragon. Rajang. You've got Legiana. So Legiana was actually one that was in Monster Hunter World, but they're going to have Legiana and Iceborne, and it's going to be the variant though, because most of these monsters had a stronger variant from Monster Hunter World to the Iceborne. So it's going to be the Shrieking Legiana, as though Legiana didn't shriek enough as it was. So you got the extra loud Shrieking Legiana, and that one has a little extra ice and stuff on it. I believe they were planning to have some other variants in this second one. Though maybe that's part of why they didn't bring out some of the other stuff in the expansions. They may have like the what is it? There was a Otogaron, Obsidian Otogaron or something. There's like a variation of that one, and they didn't have that one in here because he's one from the Rotten Vale. So maybe they'll have him in Iceborne, but that one's not confirmed. You do have that Shrieking Legiana. You've got Barioth, which is like this big saber-toothed looking version of Tigrex, and Tigrex is also in there, which is this other, it's kind of like a T-Rex with like dragon wings or something. I don't know. He's a brute wyvern. He's pretty tough. He's really teethy. He's got one of the stronger bites in the game, so he's pretty powerful. You got Baratotus. So Juratotus is this kind of like muddy fish monster from the first one. Baratotus was like a ice version of that. And let's see here. What do we got? Nergigante. All right. Nergigante. We got Teostra. I'm trying to find that. There they are. They gave a big box for this suit. Let's get this content out real quick. Get out of the way. This is the Kushala Diora. It's a big box just for one. It's supposed to be a pretty big one. Again, I'm not going to pull this out while we're talking. Otherwise, this is the main one that I want to actually show is the Azure Rathalos in Black Diablos. Yeah, I think I got off track there talking about the 7 monsters that we have confirmed in Iceborne. Again, Bonbaro, you've got Legiana, Barioth, Tigrex, Rajang, Velkhana, and Baratotus. Those are the only 7 that I could find that are going to be in Iceborne so far that have been released. So that's going to be fun. Again, I'm not really looking forward to having to pay all that money for it. I mean, it's going to be probably pretty pricey, but man, this is one of those games that I am planning to just kind of sacrifice space for, just because I love Monster Hunter so much. For some reason, that big boss battle game where you have to actually like increase your competence and your own skill. You're not just gaining experience like you would on Final Fantasy. You're actually having to increase your actual capacity to handle these monsters, both in the video game and in this board game. Something about that and getting to craft stuff, that mechanic of going out and gathering things from this world and bringing them back and making things out of them and going back out. It's almost like that survival game mechanic of crafting things, only it's all based around the fun part, which is taking down these big old monsters. Really looking forward to that. So here is the Black Diablos and Azure Rathalos, like just the initial tray. It's got their wings in it. So their wings are separated from the bodies. I think that's how the other ones are as well. So here's the Black Diablos. And no wings. We could pop his wings on real quick and see what he looks like. So I guess these hold on decent enough. Probably don't have to necessarily Yeah, you're going to probably want to glue those. That one's a little... Well, no, actually, once you jam it in there, I guess it does stay pretty good. So Black Diablos. It's just like the other Diablos, only it's black. Man, this is some chunky, like heavy plastic. They didn't go light with this stuff. This is like, I think this is solid. Yeah, these are substantial. These aren't just your lightweight little hollow figures. And then we have Rathalos, the Azure Rathalos. Now Rathalos is like the flagship monster of the game. He's kind of like the dragon from God, what was that Matthew McConaughey movie, Breath of Fire or whatever? It kind of reminds you of just some beast flying gnarly dragon like that. And a lot of the monsters in Monster Hunter are reminiscent of some kind of dragon type figure. But there you go. That's blue Azure Rathalos. More or less, again, Rathalos, only blue. So they didn't change anything on these models other than just the initial color of them. So I don't know. I mean, I'm still gonna have to prime it if I paint it. So doesn't really matter. I don't think there was any other good way though to get a second copy of these though if you did want to paint them. Oh, now that I'm thinking of it, so these bases are just basic that you'll see here. You've probably seen them before again, but it might not be very easy to see that. But it's just a flat... Oh, I guess it'd be easier if I pop the wings back off. It's just a flat, like, orthogonal, like, direction. Like, it's got a line to go one direction and the other just to help you point them where they're facing. And Iceborne, they're planning to actually have molded bases, so they're going to have each one of the figures is going to have its own little nice base to it. So, and they look pretty cool from the models that I've seen so far. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm not looking forward to paying for it, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring out in the campaign. I'm really looking forward to getting Monster Hunter World out. I'm probably gonna do some extra content for this. I think I may do a how to play and maybe a little bit of reviews too as well, just on the different expansions and how one compares to the other. If you did not back Monster Hunter World and you are looking at the retail version and you're saying, God, that's a lot of stuff and I don't know if I want to buy all that. But you maybe you want to get one of the core sets and you're like, I don't know if I want to get the Wildspire Waste or the Ancient Forest. I'm going to go through and play these and see if I can compare them in a way that might make you decide whether you want to get one or the other. It's hard because Diablos is in the Wildspire Waste and Rathalos is in the Ancient Forest. So right from the bat, you are having a hard time fighting between those two. Personally, if I didn't know anything about the game to begin with, I would probably go for the Ancient Forest just to start off because Rathalos is such an iconic figure in the series. But Diablos is super cool and super tough, and he's got big, giant horns. So he's pretty neat. But otherwise, I think that's about all I've got to say about Iceborne coming out. If you're looking to back Iceborne, get yourself about $400 to $500 ready because you're probably going to need it. You could probably stay at that $1 pledge for a while though, so take that for what it's worth. I hope it does well. I hope it all plays well. I hope that they're able to correct things ahead of time, and it would be really nice if SFG was able to include the additional typoed content like the rule books and things that had some issues from this game. But overall, this game has gotten really good reception. So again, I am looking forward to getting it out and getting it on the table. But any length, thank you guys so much for stopping by. listen to me ramble on as I do, pulling out a bunch of boxes that you've already seen, and and showing a little bit of my excitement as I get to go through these big cardboard boxes and with childlike enthusiasm. Anyways, thanks so much again. I hope you guys have gotten your Monster Hunter World games in if you backed it, and if not, I hope you guys are ready to back Iceborne, and if not, maybe you could check out the retail as Monster Hunter World starts making its way into the board game stores. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, you know that you can give a couple of those free clicks on the screen. It really does help support channels like mine, and I appreciate it so much when you do. But otherwise, I will see you guys soon. I'll be on new videos soon, and I'll see you there. All right, thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.